All right, we're here. Congratulations, guys. We're making progress. We're doing it. We're doing it. So we have this section right here which says add a new section. Now I want you guys to like kind of familiarize yourself with these. So this is like a text widget, a button, a video, a divider, an icon like Google Maps, image box. All of these are just basically little modules, and you basically just drag all of these to anywhere you want, and it basically just puts it there. So that's basically how this page builder works. So everything is totally drag and drop right here. So right here, I'm gonna click on add a new section, and I wanna just select one right here. So you see our section right here. Now, before we do anything, I wanna click on this right here. Now you see on the left side right here, we have this layout. So basically I wanna say, look, I wanna go ahead and stretch this section. I want it 100%, so I want it to cover all the page. And also for the content width, I wanna make it full width. And for the height, I want it to fit to the screen. So now you guys can see that we have that landing page like this. We can have that big landing page. So we can have that like, the image in the background, and we can kind of decorate a little bit. Now there is a link in the description of this video, and it will give you access to some images. Now the image I use for this same exact tutorial, I cannot give you this same exact image because it's actually owned by a company, so I can't redistribute it, but I've actually put a lot of replacements in that folder, so don't worry. And also, if you guys need to go get really cool images, I recommend going to unsplash.com. These guys have some amazing images. So a really famous one is like night sky, or you can put in like space, and these are all like HD beautiful images. It's kind of like Instagram, but for like super professional photographers. It's not for the average person. Like, people just don't upload pictures that are not good. They only take really really nice pictures. So I actually have some in my folder in the link in the description. So I think I used like a few other ones. Okay, so right here, I'm gonna click on this, or I'm gonna go back over here. Now under the style, we have background type. So this is for just like an image. This right here is for the gradient effect, which we'll talk about a little bit later, and this is for the video. So depending on which one you want, you can use either of those, but I want to get very basic and just go to classic. And let's say you want a different color. So you can have like a different color, right here. And remember, this part right here is where your text is gonna go, but I'll do that in a little bit. But I don't want color. I don't want it. I want a picture. Pictures are always easy. Everybody loves pictures. So right here in Media Library, I'm gonna click on select files, and you're going to upload the file. So I think mine was on my desktop, and it was for Elementor. And I can use something like this right here. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and use this one right here and go to insert media. All right, now it does look a little skewed. It looks kind of crazy. You're like, whoa, this does not look that good. So right here under our position, leave that as default. For the attachments, I'll go ahead and leave that as default. But the main one that you really want to look after is size, and I want to put cover. So now you guys can see that the image is right there, and it looks much better than that little tiny space that we had before, right? So, and there's also a lot of other cool features you can have, like a background overlay. So if you want to add like an overlay to this, you can go ahead and add an overlay. But for right now, I'm not going to get too far in these settings because we're going to talk about all of these settings a little bit later. I just want to get you all familiar with the page builder and make sure that you understand it. So you see these little these squares up here? I want you to click on that, and this will bring the option of these right here. So it gives you all the little, the gadgets and everything else. So right here under text editor, I'm going to take that and just drag it right here. Now I put welcome to the revolution, but you guys can put whatever you want. By now you guys can, it's your website, so I'm gonna put something like welcome to, or I'm gonna do this. Let's see, welcome to the revolution. And guys, for future reference, I don't know why, but in web design, everyone capitalizes the first letter of every word. It's just the way it kind of goes. It just looks really clean, and most people out there just tend to do that. So I put welcome to the revolution, and for style, I want to go ahead and center this. Now you guys can't really see it too well, so I want to change the color. So right here under text color, I want to put white. Now typography. So this is actually where you can change the font, you can change everything about this. So the size, you guys can make it go bigger, or you can make it go smaller. So right here, I'm gonna leave it at around 35. What do you guys think? 32? 32 is good. Now for the family, I put a tally on it, but guys, this page builder has unlimited fonts. And the great part about this is that with other themes and other page builders, you have to install like the easy Google fonts, and you have to enter code. It's a total pain. It's a total pain in the butt, but this is actually much easier. So I did Italiana. All right. Now it doesn't come out too well, so maybe you would want to change yours, or but actually the weight would actually make a big difference. So right here, the weight is kind of like the boldness. So I'm gonna go ahead and put 300. Okay, that didn't do much. So maybe let's increase it to 600. Now you can see it's coming out a little bit more clear. And I can even go more. I can go 700, and then I can go 800, or I can just say I want it bold. But I'll just leave it at 800 right here. Now for the transformation, we can have it all in uppercase. So I prefer to have it in uppercase because I think it looks better. But you can actually do lowercase, or capitalize, or whatever you want to do it. Now capitalize is actually what I recommend because that's just what people in web design do. I know in the grammar world it's not correct, but that's just what people do here. So yeah, so anyways, so for the style as well, you can change it to normal, italicized, or oblique. So if you want it italic, change it to italic, or you can go ahead and just leave it as normal. Now for the letter spacing, I know some companies do this, like I think L'Oreal, that shampoo company, where if you space it out, you see how the letters kind of space out like that? You can do that, or you can make it really, really, really small. But that's ridiculous. Nobody would do that. But maybe something like that. And then right here, you can change the line height. Now I'll explain what the line height is a little bit better. It's kind of hard to give you an example of a good line height, but basically it's just the line. It's like the space of it. But after I add some other text in, you'll understand what I'm talking about a little bit more. So I'm just gonna leave it at just leave it at 1 for now. Okay. So now I want to go ahead and add in the next section. So right here, actually no, it's the other website, Daryl Wilson tutorial. Let me go to that one just to show you guys. Also, if you guys need help or you guys need resources, go to my website, darylwilson.com. You guys can get a lot of free resources. I have a lot of giveaways. I have all sorts of cool stuff. Now I want you guys to kind of understand what I've done. So right here we have a text. I have a header. I added an underline and then 2 buttons. That's it. That's all I did. So going back over here, I'm gonna delete this one. You're fired. That one's gone. That one's gone. All right. So clicking on these little icons right here. So right here, I'm gonna go to heading. And I'm gonna put this right, you see where that little line is right there? I'm gonna go ahead and drop it right there. Now it shows up right here. So right here, I put Elementor, because that's the page builder that we're using. Elementor. I'm gonna go ahead and center that. All right. Now for the style, we have text color and typography. So right here, I'm gonna click on this white and then typography. I think I used, it was like the Montserrat, something like that, or I wasn't really sure which one I used. So right here under the family right here, I think it was like the Mont. I think I used this one right here. No, I use Open Sans. Open Sans, duh. It's like the most preferred one. So Open Sans right here. And then I want to change this to maybe 300, make it a little bit more thinner, because once I make it bigger, it'll look better. Now for this size right here, I might change this to something like 105 or something like that. Okay. Now you see the line height right there? So basically the line height is basically saying, look, I want this much height in between the lines. So it's kind of like hogging the lines in a way. That's what the line height is doing. So going back over here, you don't have to follow me, but right here under line height, you can see how it kind of saying, look, I want this much space to myself. That's basically what the line height is. So in a nutshell, that's basically what line height is. So right here, I put Elementor. Now for the style, I want to actually make these a little bit, I want to kind of space it out right here. I want that big space right there. So 5.1. And for the transformation, I'll do something like uppercase. And then for the style, I'll go ahead and leave that as default. Now guys, also one more thing, when you're designing your website, you might want to close this right here, because that's going to actually show you what it looks like. And then that's all kind of like, it's almost the same thing. It's just giving you an extra example of what it would look like. So the letter spacing, I think looks good. Now over here on my other website right here, you can see that I have this little line right here. So this is basically a divider. So right here, under these little gadgets right here, I'm gonna go to divider and just simply take this and just drag it right below. Now, the whole purpose of a divider, guys, is to actually give space in between everything. That's really what it's for, but you can use it as decor, So right here, I'm gonna click on center. I'm gonna change the color to white. And I want you guys to actually see it. So I'm gonna increase the weight. I'm gonna do it a lot right here. I'm gonna do it to like 8. Now, I'm only doing this just to show you what it is. So right here under width, I want you guys to see this, like see how it's kind of disappearing? You know, see that? But if I have it on the left, it's going to disappear to the left. And then to the right, you can kind of disappear like that. But I actually want to keep it in the center. And I want to just have it maybe like something like this right here. Okay, and then the weight, that's too much. You know, maybe something a little bit thinner. 3 is good. Okay, now you can actually do like dotted. You can do like all sorts of different little decorations and everything. Now for the advanced tab, guys, don't worry about all this. We're going to cover this a little bit later in the tutorial. I know there's a lot to cover with this page builder, but baby steps. So also you guys can do like the weight, the gap. Now for the gap right here, this is basically the sole purpose of the divider. So basically the divider is saying, look, I want this much space in between everything. So by increasing or decreasing that, you can actually, you know, put that wherever you want it. So I'm just going to do like 2. And later on in the tutorial, we'll talk more about margins, which is basically like how you can actually push it against other, you know, places where you can, you know, like put it anywhere you want. So basically the margin is kind of like saying where you want it to start from. So if I put like -10, it's going to be a little bit closer. But if I do like +10, it's going to be like farther away. But in this case right here, I'm just leave it at -10. But we'll talk more about margins and padding, guys. Don't worry. I don't want to jump into any of the advanced options yet. So next we have this 2 button right here. So we have 2 buttons right here. Now let's go ahead and add those in. Now guys, I want to be very straightforward with you guys. Design is everything. You know, I've seen a lot of other tutorials where they teach people how to make websites, but they don't look good. You know, guys, what good is a website if it doesn't look good? You need to make it amazing. And when someone comes to your page, they need to know what your website is about in 2 seconds or they're going to leave. Because if someone comes to an ugly website, they don't understand it, they're going to leave, right? Wouldn't you? So you want to make sure your website gets to the point very fast, very clear, so they understand about you and your website. So right here under these little 2 things, now I want you to go to columns and drag this. And we're going to put this below this thing right here. So what columns are basically, it's just more sections basically. It's just more sections. So that's really all it is. So I have 2 sections here. Now if you want to add more, you click on this little thing and go to plus. And it's going to add 3 sections. But I want to go ahead and just delete it. I only want 2. I only want 2 buttons. And if you want to delete this whole row, you can click on this little X right here and that will actually delete the entire row. Okay. But I'm going to go ahead and take these columns and drag it out and put them right there. And then we'll click on these buttons and go to button. You guys are probably already getting this, you know, right? I'll put it right there. Now I'm going to click this again. Actually, no. We can actually duplicate this row. But yeah, so right here, click on this and click on these little 2 things right here. So here it says duplicate column. Click on that. So now we have 2. So now this one, we can just go ahead and delete it. All right, awesome. Now there are a lot of good reasons why you want to duplicate rows, because sometimes you're making a lot of stuff and you just want to duplicate it. You know, you already have the font, like right here we did the font, we did everything. You know, you might not want to do that all over again on another part of your website, so you can just go ahead and duplicate the rows. Now for this button right here, I want to go ahead and put it to the right. So you see here, it's right there. Now for the type right here, you can put it to like info, but this is just the color. So these are just like kind of like for beginners, if you don't really know what to put. They're basically saying danger is red. You know, success is, what is success? Green. Oh, because I guess money. You know, I guess whoever has the most money nowadays, that's that's who the successful person is. So here I'm going to put start. Now for the link. So the link is basically, if they click on this, where do you want them to go? Well, we'll do that a little bit later. But for example, you could put like www.darylwilson.com. And if they click on this button right here, they're going to go to my website, darylwilson.com. Well, actually, you have to put HTTPS. So HTTPS. And then that, okay? And then when they click on this, it'll take them to darylwilson.com, okay? So we'll just go ahead and leave that like that for now. And then for the icon, do you want an icon here? So if you want an icon, we can go ahead and put yes. You know, we can find some cool ones. Let's see what we got. We got the apple. All right, we got apple. That's actually really cool. And you can actually do like the position, so you can have it before, after. And then you can do icon spacing as well. But that looks really ugly. I don't think any website does that, so we'll probably leave it at like 5 or something. Something standard. Now for style. So we have this hover right here. And guys, you're going to come across this hover in all of the options with these things. Where basically, like if you hover over something, what do you want your visitors to see? Now, I'm going to go ahead and use the hover option in this because all of the modules actually have this. So if you go to like any of these other modules right here, they all have the hover feature. So even the background right here, if someone hovers over it, you can change the settings if someone hovers over it. It's really up to you. So right here under these, under the button right here, I'm going to go and click on the button. Now under style right here, I'm gonna click on typography. So remember, we're just changing the actual button right now. But I actually just kind of left it standard. You know, you can give it like a different font, like let's do Open Sans. Okay, and then the weight, you can always change the weight to whatever you would like, or 500. And these options, guys, are also repetitive. So in the course of this tutorial, I'm not going to go in depth on this again because we've kind of already covered all this. You know, we talked about this when we talked about the heading and all that other stuff. So I'm not gonna, like, once I cover one thing, I'm not gonna, you know, cover it all over again because that would just be repetitive and we're just wasting each other's time. You know, you're gonna be like, hey, Daryl, I already saw this. You know, this thumbs down. You know. So right here we have our normal, and then we have a hover. So the hover option means if someone hovers over it, what do you want it to do? So basically you can decide if someone hovers over it, the options will change. So right here we have text color. I'm gonna put white. It's already white. I'm gonna click here. And now we also have background color. So I like this color right here. So now you guys can see it's this color. But now we have the option of hover. See this right here? So right now it says text color is white, background color is this blue. But if I click on hover right here, we can change that. So now I'm gonna put black, and then I'm gonna put red. It's a really, let's see, where's the red at? There it is, red. Okay, so now if I hover over the start button, it's going to change like that. So it's gonna be from, you know, like that, and that's basically what the hover is. And also you can change the animation, which is really, really cool. So basically when someone visits the website for the very first time, it's going to get like a really cool little animation. So that's only for the hover over effect though. So you see how I'm hover overing it right now? I can change it to like pull shrink. See that? How it's kind of making that animation, or pop in. See that? But remember, this is only for the hover. So if you do this, you want to make sure you're doing it for the correct setting. Now, I don't know which one you'd want, but right here, I'm going to do normal. And then again, we can, you know, change the, change the animation for it as well. So I'm just letting you guys know that when you guys do this, you need to actually set it for the hover option. You know, I actually think the hover option is only for the button when you hover over it as well. But it's actually in every module. So that's just, you know, basically if someone hovers over it, there you go. Okay. So next thing we're gonna go ahead and do is like the width right here. So we have the solid and the normal, or whatever you want to put. Now we can also do border radius, and the higher you go, the rounder it gets. So right here, I'm gonna do like 30, 50, we can have it like that. And there you go, we have like a rounder button, okay? Now box shadow, everyone loves box shadow. So box shadow is basically like a shadow around the box. So right here we have this blur. Now if you see the button right here, you're gonna see this dark little kind of like, we can actually change the color to help you see it a little bit better. But now you see how there's like that little green around it. There's a blue, there's like a purple. You see how it's kind of glowing? That's really what a box shadow is. So if you want a box shadow around your button, feel free to do that. And of course you can change these settings. You can have it horizontal. That would probably make no sense. But you can change the spread of it to something like this right here. So you see how it's kind of glowing? So that is basically what a box shadow is. And you can change the blur to something else that you want. Okay. But I don't want a box shadow. Now I do like box shadows around other modules, but not on buttons. I don't think it's good. And this is also like the text padding. So padding is basically space. But space, I don't want to do it in this example because it's not going to be clear enough. So right now I'm just going to say, you know what? I'm done with this section, So going up over here. Now I'm going to click on this button right here. Now all I want to do right here is I'm just going to go ahead and just change the style to black. So I want the background color as black. Something like that. And I'll put like a welcome. Or let's see right here. Yeah, we'll put the button right here. We'll go ahead and put welcome. Okay, and then of course we have our icon. You can change this to all these settings as you want. Okay, and then we'll talk a little bit about margin and padding a little bit later, how we can put this kind of, we can put it anywhere we want basically, but I don't want to do that right now. So we'll talk more about that a little bit later. But let's go ahead and shrink this right here. And there you go. We have our home page. Beautiful home page. So I have welcome to the revolution. You see Elementor. We have this divider, and we added 2 buttons. So congratulations, guys. That was actually